What's up, everybody? Ringside Seat, episode 15. Wrestling talk on the sports box with myself, Lou Berdecia, special guest Joe Rickson is becoming a recurring guest on the show, which I'm not upset about at all.
Same.
Kids, we're a couple weeks removed from WrestleMania 42, and I really wanted to kind of let things settle before we overreacted in the moment, right? I feel like that's generally a better idea than to have that knee-jerk snap judgment like 24, 48 hours, even after Raw, to just be like, well, this is stupid. Because again, we talk about the idea of here's our ideas versus their ideas. We like ours better than theirs because they're our ideas. And here's what has happened. So now that it's solid, almost 2 weeks removed from the Showcase of the Immortals, 10, 11 days. I feel now's a great time to kind of think back and see, where we are, kind of where we're going. Just kind of talk through our thoughts about it and some different topics coming out of the show, of the Showcase of the Immortals as it is. So, gentlemen, welcome this evening. How are you?
The springtime pollen is kicking my butt, but otherwise I'm good.
Lou, man, I was just telling my wife the same thing, man. I've been like coughing all day, and it can't be the 2 cigars I smoked yesterday. It's got to be the pollen. That's what I'm doing.
Of course.
It's definitely the pollen.
There are times when I wish I could take like something sharp and just like slice open areas of my face to relieve pressure.
Oh yeah. And then the nature of where we live in the Pine Barrens, like I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this. I'm sure you have, but there's like clouds of yellow when you're driving through or something. You could just see it. Like, brother, that's just all like death to me.
Like the trees in my parents' yard, the pine trees, and the wind blows, you see the yellow just cascading off the.
Brutal. It's brutal.
We don't have as many trees up here in North Jersey. We're a lot of concrete, but still, it's like
you just have smog and all that up there, but
we just got smog, that New York City dirt. It's warmer now, so the pea smell is starting to come back out of the sidewalks in New York City. That's our version of pollen, Lou. Yeah. It's when the weather gets nice and the aromas start coming back out of the sidewalk that have been habitating there all winter. That's our pollen.
What's kind of crazy is it was a solid 45 degrees or something today. My pool gets open tomorrow, which is just the most insane. So hopefully it'll be easier open this year because it won't be the heat with the algae and everything else.
Yeah.
Neither here nor there. So now that the dust has settled, right? Everybody hated night 1. Everybody was more constructive on night 2. Just as a general population overview, here's what generally people think, right? But I wanted to kind of get your feelings just on what we saw, because I just, first of all, we're still not over this. There's 2 main events of WrestleMania now that still keeps coming up, and I don't really understand it. Makes no sense. It's kind of like the analogy I'll give you is it's like the author is writing a book and they're saying, "Oh, Lou was the killer," but then you're like, "Well, no, Lou wasn't the killer." But like, no, I wrote the book. Lou was absolutely the killer. I said it here. No, he's not. No. All right, whatever. Let's do what you got to do. There was a clear delineation to me, and it's kind of, you look back on it, we were all kind of confused as to how they were doing the graphics leading in, where one looked like Demolition Derby and the other one looked very futuristic, and then it all kind of made sense because they kind of did night 1 as Vegas after the end of the world, and then they did night 2 we were on a spaceship. Don't know what they were going for specifically, but at least they had the delineation. So they had that moment where, oh, it's all blue now. And I think it felt a little bit more like WrestleMania to a degree. I don't know. There's parts I really like. There's parts I couldn't stand, but I want to defer to you fine folks first before I talk about the things I talk about.
Yeah, I mean, by and large, I enjoyed WrestleMania, the card itself and the 2 nights of the event. I thought it was an enjoyable experience. I got the card in front of me. The iSpeed segment, Becky Lynch was all right. The Stephanie, Gunther and Rollins was all right. And I didn't actually hate Cody versus Randy Orton. What I hated was the Pat McAfee aspect of it, the unnecessary, okay, Randy's going to turn on him immediately in that match. But again, it was by and large I enjoyed it. But I think what's really annoying me about looking back and thinking about WrestleMania 42, there's 2 things that really annoy me about how they portrayed it. One was the ridiculous amount of ads. And I know you feel a certain type of way about this, Brian, as a capitalist. Um, but I mean, it was like, specifically, they showed the montage of CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. That was a fantastic. WWE is pound for pound the greatest of all time making a montage. How are you going to show us the montage and then go into a 4-minute cycle ad and then do the intros? Are you kidding me? Give me the montage. Give me the match. They spammed announce ads like crazy. That annoyed me. And the second thing that annoyed me, I don't know how you feel, Joe, about this. You gave Dragon Lee, J. Day McDonough, and Rusev jobber entrances in the ladder match. When the whole point of WrestleMania, it's like when we watch the Super Bowl, one of the main attractions is the commercials. The game is almost secondary sometimes, depending on your rooting interest. One of the things people tune into WrestleMania is to see the pageantry, to see the cool entrances. You gave me 3 wrestlers jobber entrances on a show
Wait to tell me they're not. Wait to tell me they're not winning.
Which first it tells you that they're not winning, but it's WrestleMania. You give that's the whole point of WrestleMania is the pageantry. So those 2 items, by and large, really are the most annoying things to me. But overall, I thought it was a good show overall. Like, to me.
I think it's very easy to jump on the bandwagon and say, oh, this show was terrible and was the worst. I wasn't a huge fan for a myriad of reasons that I'm sure we'll hit on throughout the show. Not every WrestleMania is a winner. The narrative that this is the reason they should go back to one night is a stupid, sweaty, no-life loser take that is all over like the Reddit boards that I'm just tired of seeing. The word I keep going back to is I feel like the night was kind of soulless. Like, and some of that was probably the poor build-up on the storylines. Like I feel like we talked about a few weeks ago. The fact that a lot of these felt really rushed, almost like an afterthought. The overemphasis on the celebrity star thing. We're still talking about this a lot. Like the whole Pat McAfee thing was stupid. Like it was just dumb. It didn't add anything whatsoever. The ad formats drove me crazy, Lou. That was like that. If anything, like that was what ruined Mania for me. The matches, like I said, not every year is going to be great, and a lot of times things outside of the control of management dictate that. Which I think, in all fairness, is a lot of the reason why it felt the way it did, because a lot of things like injuries and things happened that were outside of their control. Whatever. But there are things that you can control, and you can control doing a kick-ass montage and then cutting to 4 minutes worth of advertisements. It's like the beef I have with like the NFL. If you go to a college football game, they will do the national anthem. The teams are not on the field. And then they go into the intro. They dim the lights of the stadium, right? They keep that. You go from the national anthem to now we're in football mode. The NFL does the opposite, where they do the player intros and they do the national anthem, and it just ruins the vibe of like you're so amped up and you're ready to murder somebody, and then it's like, please rise and remove your hats for the singing of our national anthem. And you're like, oh god, I want people to hit each other. Like, what are we doing? It felt like that. Like it felt like so many times those things were flip-flopped, and the viewer experience was very much an afterthought. And like I said, you can't always control the storylines. There are things you can control. The viewer experience they could have controlled was poor. It felt very corporate, not very well thought out. And like you said, I thought that, and here's the other thing too. I think that when you give people jobber entrances, I would interpret that as a sign of blatant disrespect. Like these guys, like Rusev's a career guy. Like these are guys that have been around for a long time. This is not their first. Especially for Rusev, this is not his first Mania. This is not some of these guys' first go around. Like, I just think you owe these wrestlers the opportunity to have a WrestleMania moment, even if that moment is just walking down the ramp. And so that bummed me out to lose. I'm glad we're on the same page on that. Like, I just like you said, I felt like, could you imagine if when we went at MetLife in like 2019 and like they open up a match and like 3 guys are already in the ring before they even do the intros? Like, I'd be kind of salty about that. Like, I'd be like, I feel like I was missing out on the experience. I don't know. They said what night one? Night one was definitely worse than night two. I feel like night two, they sort of, I think they read the tea leaves on social media, and they made some adjustments on the fly. But I mean, I think my favorite match, I mean, we'll go through this later, was obviously, I thought, the Seth Rollins match to me was my favorite one. But like I said, I'm not going to down the event because I think, like I said, there were a lot of things that were outside of their control. But I do think the viewer experience was generally poor. Like, why am I looking forward to the Danhausen segments? Like that was like I wanted Danhausen all the time. Like I just wanted to and like I said, that if that's what I want the whole night, if I just want more Danhausen, then I feel like you failed.
There's a problem. Yes.
Product.
Yeah.
That's not a beef on Danhausen. I love Danhausen, but that's just how I feel.
Part of my style with general podcasting and general life is I will play devil's advocate, not so much that I agree with the opposite point, but just to spark conversation, right? So about entrances, right? As you were talking, I was reminded that at WrestleMania 6, the tag team champions of the world, who were the Colossal Connection, which was Haku and Andre the Giant, who gets on some people's Mount Rushmore, so not a jobber by any means, they were in the ring when the camera came in. Already in the ring, the tag team champions, the Colossal Connection, and then Demolition came out to all the fanfare. So, again, pros and cons to that, I get it. You do have to time a show. You do have to do what you got to do. The thing about the ads, now, Joe, correct me if I'm wrong. This might be more in your area of the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've always understood it, for example, that when CBS pays the NFL for the Super Bowl, that then they get the ad revenue. Like that they're paying for the content to then sell the ads.
Generally how it works. Yeah, you're you're selling the ads to make your money back.
Correct. That you'll pay X amount because you're going to sell the ads for more, you're going to make a spread.
Correct.
Okay. So with that in mind, I don't know that it was WWE or even TKO that was dictating. They did lose. Yes, I understand. They did. That was Andre's last WrestleMania match. I don't know that it's WWE TKO that are the ones dictating the ads and how frequently they were showing up, right? Because if that's ESPN, who just spent a stupid amount of money to get content for their streamer and now needs to recoup some of that, again, that's number one. Number two, we also forget that this is on Netflix internationally, so there's a lot of hands, I guess, in the bowl. The part of the ads that honestly bothered me was not so much that there were ads, that they were just absolutely repetitive.
Also, sure.
It was like the same, like the Super Bowl, for example. And I'm not going to say, they should have a WrestleMania specific commercial. That's not what I'm saying. But like, it's not as annoying because it's not anything repetitive is going to annoy you, right? So I think that's actually what made it worse. It's not that the ads were there, and I get that, right? But like, I watch hockey, right? There's an Enterprise ad at the blue line. Like there's live boards. Like this is content creation in today's world. So like the stuff on the mat does not bother me. I thought they should always be. I never understood why they don't do more ads around the exterior of the ring, like on the walls, kind of like the boards at a hockey game. Like I thought that was always made some sense. I just feel like the repetitiveness, and Dan says Hulk Hogan Doc ad plays 6-8 times every night. Now, again, is that Netflix getting their money's worth or whatever to try to promote it? Like,
they probably had maybe a cost share of like, hey,
sure,
we'll cut the deal this much if you let us air the ad 6-8 times.
Like I said, I feel as though those sorts of complaints, while there is a shred of validity to them, I think are just the manifestation of something else. Like you're mad about something, but you're going to pick on this. I'm just mad about that. That's just, I think, generally how people are, right? They may not have liked the ending. They may not have liked the Pat McAfee appearance and everything else, which we'll get to. They may not have liked going back to Vegas 2 years in a row. They may not have liked paying $30 a month for ESPN, but that's where, there are too many ads. All the ads. The ads ruined it for me. Like,
and they're not the only ones guilty of this. I mean, like, a major MMA brand used to be a client of mine. Their fans were always bitching about pacing. Right, I feel like UFC lifers bitch about pacing every single. Lou, that's more your wheelhouse. Like pacing is a problem, I think, for every act. I think what's difficult though is like in a UFC event, pacing is more difficult because you don't know how long the matches are going to go.
Right.
One match should go one round, but you still have to have the main event land at a certain time, right? It's got to fall between that. So, like, if you got a bunch of first round knockouts, you got a lot of time to kill before the main event.
There's a lot of fluff, absolutely.
Whereas with WWE, I feel like everybody kind of knows how long these matches are going to go. Like, it is scripted.
Those matches ended right in the ESPN hour. Wow,
yeah,
like, that's crazy.
What a coincidence, right? And so I think that's sort of about the pacing that annoyed me. Is I felt like they're just. And I think we saw a little bit better night 2. I think it did get a little bit better night 2. I think so hopefully this is something they can resolve.
Except for putting the ad in between the montage and the start.
That's got to go. That's a completely controllable thing. But I think the reason why they did that is because you think the match is coming. You get your pizza rolls and you sit down, and now you're hooked for the ad.
Yeah, but you could flip-flop that position, like you said. Just put the ad before the montage.
But if you put the ad before the montage, I'm not going to sit down with my pizza rolls until the montage comes on. Whereas if I sit down with my pizza rolls and the montage comes on, I think the match is starting, and then you got me. What am I going to do? Get up again for 4 minutes? Like, I'm not saying that's right. I'm saying in the advertising world, that's how we operate. I feel operate in that world too. That's how we operate. It's shady, but it is what it is.
Even in real time, I remember, and I text the group chat as that ad went in between the montage and the match. Like, again, like looking back on it, I don't think the amount of ads, like, you know, somebody did a breakdown. It was like 33% ad, 33% intro, 33% match on the entirety of the card. So the ads not so much upset me. Now looking back on it, it was the placement.
That's not like, any, and that's the percentage is not any. It's not any different than any other fight sport. Right. And that's how ESPN is viewing this product. They're viewing this product like they would view UFC or whatever else they're doing. Right, like when they were doing
like
that.
As a user experience from watching from home, like what looking back on older shows and older clips, some of the best stuff happens in the back, behind the scene. Oh my God, the backstage segments, interviews, or something like that, or something happens. Like we didn't get any of that. We don't get any of that anymore. Like the backstage, the Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior with Mean Gene in the back, some of the best promo work in the history of the business. Yeah, and now we don't get that because you have to fill that.
Yeah,
and hopefully it's not the thing moving forward, Brian. With the spam ads on every single show.
Well, I felt that I didn't have a need to go to the bathroom during a match because I had plenty of time in between the matches, and sometimes we forget. Now I remember at WrestleMania 29, I went to go piss during the Ryback Mark Henry match.
Feed me more,
but like we forget sometimes at home that like there's people there that are getting up and ordering food and going to pee and buying merchandise.
Ryback was always my pee break, so I'm glad we're on the same page. Ryback was always my pee break match. By the way, still only wrestler to block Joe on Twitter.
Yes, beautiful.
No, I got Sami Zayn blocked me.
Sami Zayn blocked
Sami Zayn?
Yeah. So
so I know someone who got blocked by Sami Zayn on accident, and he unblocked them recently.
I don't know about that, but he put up this like shirt that was like really dumb, and I commented, "No one's gonna buy that shirt." And then
he blocked. That's awesome.
That's like my claim to fame. And Sammy's the nicest guy too, so it's whatever.
That's fantastic.
Night 1 felt like it had more TKO influence, external influence, which we'll get to in a minute. Night 2 felt more like it was an in-house production, and I don't know if that was the plan or what it was, but and also I'm just gonna say this: like Night 1, there were 7 matches, and 3 of them were women's matches, right?
There you go.
So Night 2, there were 6 matches, and 1 was a women's match. Now, I'm not saying, I enjoy women's wrestling too, but I'm saying it just as a generality. I don't know that people get as wired up for them as they do for the men, just being honest, right? So, again, we'll get to okay, so first and foremost, I was talking to somebody on the internet, as I normally do, which people love to attack me, and it's fun. That why was the Tiffany Stratton championship match against Julia on the card? Like, why did they have the Usos and LA Knight in the card? I'm like, because they wanted I show speed, right? You have to think sometimes like we're running a business. Okay. So I don't care to see I show speed. My son thought it was great. Like they're trying to attract a different audience, whatever. Not necessarily me. They got me, right? So Like, that's why that's there, right? And then that's why it was also number one. That's why it was ESPN, right? Because again, think about it logically, like, okay, how can we hook people into watching the free stuff to then make them pay for the real stuff? That's
Sure.
what you do. They do that with UFC too. They have like some big matches that are not, or fights that are not a pro level, but they make you, oh, you know what? Yeah, I want to watch it now. Let's just give the teaser, right? Give the first hit, and then you're addicted for the rest. Well, guess we'll go through some of these matches, not necessarily all of them, because there's some others I want to talk about. I had no problem with that was a typical get people into a Mania match, 6-man tag plus a celebrity.
Sure.
I love the people that say, oh, I think I mentioned this last show, there's too much celebrity influence. I remind you, if I can, that the main event of the first ever WrestleMania featured Mr. T. So this is in the DNA of the event. You cannot sit there and be like, oh, I hate this. Like, if you're a wrestling purist, guess what, guy? This is part of your purity. So I don't want to hear your nonsense. Again, you are looking for something to complain about, and you focus on that. I should have not Mr. T. Don't get me wrong. Had a nice spot. I bought the Funko. It'll be here in October, apparently. But like, look, good for him, right? He's made a couple appearances. I mean, you have to see it for what it is and not get mad that it's not, arm bar, arm drag, technical wrestling. Like, that's not really what it is.
I didn't really see much of that complaining about celebrities, though.
There were comments like, too much this, too much that.
How about that?
There have been years where it was worse. That's actually not even my beef. I mean, my big celebrity beef was McAfee.
But that again, that was, if we just look at it, that seems to be, by all accounts, the TKO pulling rank and saying, okay, we want him to be in the match. Again, he has a relationship with Ari, whatever. They're trying to drum up people. Pat McAfee has a connection with ESPN. This is on ESPN. They can cross promote it. Like, I understand all of that. I think if all of it made more sense, you would be less upset about it, right? I think that the delivery of someone's calling Randy, talking about wrestling is more than one royal family, and playing into that. Like, I think that we as wrestling fans say, you know what, Cody Rayne didn't need this.
It didn't.
Like, if you were doing Cody and Drew, or Randy and I don't know, LA Knight, whatever. The point is that, like, you didn't need it for this match, but if you're not into wrestling, you don't know that, right? Which we'll get, again, there's a couple of topics we're going to talk about tonight. But that's where I think, if you're not an avid, if you don't come up with it, if it's not in your blood, like, you just look at it and say, oh, well, Pat McAfee's a big name, gets 1 million people to watch his podcast. Let's get him in the main event of night one so people pay attention to it. Without really thinking through, this doesn't really make sense.
Right, but and I think what was upsetting about that is the super late edition and the nonsensical, even the play out of how it played out. It didn't make any sense. So then, like, there's this notion too where you have to know where your bread is buttered too. So if you're, as a non-wrestling purist, if you're seeing, oh, Pat McAfee on WrestleMania, let me check this out. But then at a certain point, you're going to start alienating your primary fan base. And ESPN, TKO, whoever, is not going to recoup them. I mean, they're probably never going to recoup the money. Let's be serious about this. They'd have to go, what was it like? What do you want to sell for? Like $4 billion, $5 billion?
It was a lot.
Something like that. It was something astronomical.
Oh, what, TKO that bought TKO buying?
Yeah. Or ESPN. What's the terms of the deal with this, that they're trying to recover their money?
So ESPN WWE deal, starting in 2026, ESPN 5 years, $1.6 billion.
1.6 billion, astronomical figure. At a certain point, you have to you can't run the risk of alienating enough of your fan base, because WrestleMania, they didn't announce a sellout for WrestleMania either of the nights. WrestleMania sells out back in the old days. The pre-release, 90 seconds later, the show was sold out without any matches. Now, that's a big problem if you don't sell out WrestleMania.
But I would opine to you that I think they did that to themselves going back to Vegas 2 years in a row.
Vegas has also become extremely cost prohibitive.
Sure.
Like I watched a video the other day of a guy who stayed at Paris in Vegas, and he for 3 nights, and he could have flown to Paris, got an Airbnb, and it would have been cheaper than going to Paris, Vegas on
How
a
about
major
that?
event weekend. So Vegas is just getting astronomical, stupid, crazy
But
expensive.
because they're nickel and diming.
Yes,
Mhm.
Vegas knows
Right.
it too. I mean,
Yeah.
they have enough primary events. They know they do F. They got F1 now. They got a million other things going on there. They know how to price. I mean, they already know how to price gouge.
But the part to me that never made sense by going back there 2 years in a row is that, you know, I forget. I think it was Nick Khan was on one of the podcasts. It might have been Ari Helwani. Ariel Helwani, I'm sorry. Talk about, you know, we view these things as like vacations for people. Like this is their Disney World trip, like where they go and they make a huge weekend out of it. Where again, last year they flew out. It was first time it was in Vegas since WrestleMania 9. So it's like, okay, like John Cena's last WrestleMania, it's in Vegas. We'll make a trip. We'll go to SmackDown, we'll go to Raw, a whole bunch. For people that are not the hardcores, I just went to Vegas last year. Like, I don't need to go do that again, right?
And Vegas is a town that kicks your ass, man.
Yeah.
Like when you leave Vegas, you are more tired than when you went there because the clubs are open all night, and it's just every time I have a conference there in June, it's gonna wreck me. Like I just know I'm already like prepping for the mental. I'm gonna be out all night, and it's gonna be awful. Like it wrecks you financially, emotionally, mentally. It's a lot to go back year after year.
And I think there's truth to this too, because I think that there was some speculation when this happened was, they want to get WrestleMania there, like maybe, you know, 2 to every 5 years, like make it like a repetitive event the way they did, because UFC is there all the time, like all the time.
Yes.
So I'm sure that they have a ton of infrastructure built in, that they know what they're doing, and it's quick and it's easy. And again, like we'll get to, by the way, the whole thing with the wrestlers were in the General Hotel with people was an absolute disaster. That's
Absolutely
a terrible idea. That if you didn't see that coming, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
I mean, they have issues with people buying tickets for cheap flights to the airport and bugging these guys to get off the airplane. Remember that was a thing for a while?
Yeah.
Yep.
So
this is control Middle East. So I turn it back to it was supposed to be in New Orleans.
Correct.
It's still going to the Middle East next year. Now, will that be a one-nighter? That'll be interesting subplot to what we see in the future. I bet you that it is, by the way. But yeah, I just feel like they thought that they knew something that you know, we do this with this, it'll work with this. They're just applying this to each other. Because undercard makes more sense. The Fatu Drew McIntyre match was fine for what it was. Again, I still think the term unsanctioned when you were setting the match is dumb. Whatever.
Yeah, just call it no holds barred at that point.
Yeah. Call it bloodline rules for all I care. It means the same damn thing. Like whatever. But like, okay. Right guy won. No complaints. I mean, that was always a Jacob Razor. I don't think that's anything other than that. And Drew's a good soldier. I don't think Drew's a main event talent. I just don't see it. Has nothing to do with the 3MB. I just don't see him as a main event talent. I never did. Which is why I didn't think he'd be in the WrestleMania match, by the way.
Right.
Fatal 4 for the women's tag team. So everybody knew Paige was coming back. That was not a surprise.
I'm a big fan of Paige, though. I'm really excited.
No, listen, she should have never left. I'm glad she's back. I have no problem with that. The part that I find to be super awkward as hell is they won the tag titles. Whereas you have legitimate, I mean, you have a name for Nia and Lash Legend, the Irresistible Forces. Charlotte and Alexa, they've been champions. They've been a tag team for a while. Bayley and Lyra have their thing, right? Paige kind of comes back out of nowhere, but you have this tag team pedigree to go win a championship 4-way? Okay. Don't know why.
That smells like it was in her deal, her return deal.
Probably. But now you're starting to hear rumors about, like, well, is this a sign they're getting rid of Bayley? Because they have another round of releases evidently coming up in the summer, and her contract's going to expire. So like, you're just creating more drama too. I feel like with this, like, because I mean, I don't know if I thought they were going to win, but that doesn't really matter, right? Just, you know, the fact that they automatically just put it on Paige seems a little bit strange.
It just felt awkward to me. Like, I'm watching, there's no way they're going to win, and then they did. I'm like, oh.
Well, it's like, you know, like it's different. Like, it's different. Like, it's like when the Hardys came back. When the Hardys came back at Mania, and like you kind of knew they were gonna win it. Like, but they're the Hardys.
Correct.
Like, they're the Hardys. Like they got the biggest pop, one of the biggest pops of the night, right? Like the New Day teased it well. Remember, they acted like they were going to be the ones that entered the match, and they backed away, and they came out. Paige is not the Hardys,
Right.
so it's just like I said. It felt a little bit weird.
Just awkward to me. That's all.
Agreed.
Sounds like we're not going to see AJ Lee for a while.
She's gone for a long
her
time.
return did not generate necessarily the I think the merch sales and everything else that I think they were looking for, which is fine. Semi nostalgia act to begin with. I don't think there was ever a long road. And really, like, how many different things is she really going to go do? She'll probably be back for major events. That's kind of like the crescendo of these things. She'll come back for SummerSlam for something. Not at all surprised Becky won, because that's, again, if you're gonna send her on vacation, obviously she got to drop the title.
Yeah. Not much to say about that.
Joe,
I did enjoy the Puerto Rico. She had the Puerto Rico flag. And she also, I was the only one that noticed, but she had, if you're a fan of Resident Evil, you know the Stars Police Department logo. She had that on her boot. She had the patch. And I was the only one that caught that. But if you're not a Resident Evil fan, you wouldn't know. I immediately was like, bro, that is pretty sick. I'm not going to lie. But other than that, I mean, the match itself was boring too. Like, there was not much to do about that either. So, it was a throwaway match, to be honest.
I mean, it was clear when she was part-time and when she had the belt that she was probably going to let it go sooner rather than later. So, wasn't surprising.
There's just not a lot for her to do, right? Like, that's it's kind of funny, but like, when you're that level of a return, like, no, you're not probably going to go have a match with fill in the blank, like a Julia or whatever. Like, there has to be like some reason for some of that without continuing to play the same thing over and over again, like it's just playing the hits type thing. Not surprised by that. Good for her. Let her take some time off. The Gunther and Seth thing, again, that we'll get to the wrinkle on the end, but Gunther winning was not a surprise to anyone. I thought that they rushed it. Again, this was a match that was a result of injuries elsewhere, and then they kind of, since they both had the problem, they had each other, right?
Yeah.
But, that was the second longest match of the night, second only to the main event, which we'll get to in a minute. I had no problem with the match. The right guy won.
It was a good match, by and large, too. Like, that's what happens when you get two good performers in the ring. They're gonna give you a good match.
Yeah, and I thought they sort of wrote Braun Breaker into that match well too. It didn't feel forced. I thought that was one of the better decisions. How they made that happen, I think, was a better part of the night. I think it elevated Braun at the end of the night. That was my big thing too. So I felt like his addition to that match elevated him. Now we're talking about him now. So of all the matches of the night, I think this is one of the most, like, at the end of the night, was probably one of the more cohesive matches in regards to its goal.
But I think it makes sense because there is no long-term Gunther Seth thing.
Yeah.
This was just to give them something to do. So then now you weave back in what you wanted to do to begin with, because now you can. Makes all the sense in the world. Now you can start going that direction.
That super spear was fantastic too.
Yeah.
Like the running back a mile and hitting the spear, that was fantastic, man.
I will tell you what, his promo work, I feel, has gotten a lot better.
Oh, yeah?
Like, on Raw, this most recent Raw, I thought he was very, 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 very good.
Yeah.
Like, it's very, very, like, natural. Like, it feels like it's just him talking. Like, it doesn't feel forced whatsoever.
It's interesting you said that, because I was watching that and I'm thinking, like, I feel like there's a little bit of Heyman influence here. Like, I feel like it's like they're working with him and he's getting more comfortable. There is definitely, I think, a Heyman influence in how he's communicating with the camera.
I could see that.
But he just felt like literally, like, just complete, like that. It didn't feel scripted, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't know if maybe they gave him the bullet points. They didn't kind of like correct, which we'll get to that. I lost my train of thought there for a second. If he's going to be the main eventer, like the power stuff is fine, like that works to a degree, but he was just smooth. Like, that's the word I'm going to say. Guardians of the Galaxy ride at Disney smooth. Like, that's what is really, really well done. I'm excited to see where he goes now. Like, I kind of was soured on him before. Now I feel like I'm back in a little bit.
He was already the next superstar, the next WrestleMania main eventer, and with with that performance at WrestleMania, and if he continues with that promo work, he might be in the main event scene. I mean, sooner than later, because that guy has. I mean, I don't know if either of you went to NXT in Philly, the NXT show. But I went to that NXT in Philly, and Braun Breaker was on that card. When that man hit the ropes, like you see him run back and forth to hit the spear, he runs with so much. In that particular match at the NXT in Philly, when he was running the ropes, the ring was moving. Like he was hitting the rope so hard, the ring was. We were like, "What is going on?" So that man has the look. He's got the pedigree, and if he can, I'm telling you, that's a night two.
They
in the
love guys.
books.
They love guys like him.
Oh
Like
yeah,
the front office people love guys like him. If you can just talk and become the full package, you're gonna get a fast track.
yeah.
Right? Like we all love crazy big humans, right? Like, so if you can be the full package, I agree with you. I think he's on the fast lane to
Oh yeah.
a main event
Oh,
card
yeah.
sooner.
Were you a little surprised at the length of the Liv Morgan match with Vicaire?
I don't even remember how long it was.
I'm not going to complain about any match that Liv Morgan is in or the length of time. Her and Alexa Bliss could put on 80-minute matches, and it would make no difference to me. So I will never complain. If I do, it's a sign that my frontal lobe has turned to mush, and you should just put me down.
I will say this. So the entrances are great, right? But that one felt really awkward.
Oh yeah, the trouble entrance. Yeah.
Dan saying they both were hurt. Oh no, that's possible. Them basically doing a live music video with the whole shtick, like I thought that was a little much.
Sure.
I just feel that was a little over the top.
Sure.
And we have people that come out with the mummers and people that have full string quartets and people that are, but that to me was just a little much.
I agree. I said the same thing in real time as I was watching that. Yeah, that was not one of the better parts of the evening for me.
I feel like this podcast called to an absolute T the Intercontinental Championship match, where we said Penta will retain, Javon Evans will be the star. That is exactly what happened. I thought it was so obvious going in. Unbelievable spots. I still don't know how JD didn't break his head on that destroyer on the ladder. I don't know how they did that. Kudos to him. That was, I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy because, like, look, it's not, again, like, this is the, like, okay, I'm watching a theatrical event, but, like, ooh, that was a little, like.
Sometimes you can't even tell, like we know that one of the big ladders is wooden, it's painted silver, because you can see it when it cracks. But it's like, that's gotta hurt, bro. Those bumps, they take the cutters off the ladders. Like, that's gotta hurt, man. And these jokers make it look like it's just another day in the office. So much respect to anybody in a ladder match in WWE.
My buddy just took over like a wrestling promotion, and I've watched a lot of behind the scenes content, and I'm going out to the next event and I'm going to chat it up. But from what I understand, like most of like I try to explain to people, like, it hurts. It's scripted, but it hurts. And like 80% of the training that the guys that I've talked to over the years and like the indie scene and stuff is just learning how to fall. Like that's what it is, learning how to take a bump. I agree with you, Lou. Like every time they have these ladder matches, some guy lands with his back on the ladder. I'm just like, dude, it's not good.
It's not supposed to happen that way. No.
I love a good ladder match, but yeah, it's rough.
By and large,
yeah,
that was a spot fest, and the right guy won. That's the bottom line. I called an upset. I called for once I saw Rusev get the jobber entrance, I was like, damn, my hot take of the night is completely out the window.
Now, I don't know about you. I was personally just shocked that Sami Zayn lost the championship to Trick Williams in this match. I don't know where that was more out of left field than Pat McAfee. No, I'm just kidding. That was so obvious.
Trick Williams accompanied by Little Yachty.
Yeah, I'm actually while I have it up here, I need to know who the hell you Little Yachty.
You're not, dude. It's not even worth it.
Don't bother.
It's just another one of those mumble rappers, right? That I don't.
Correct.
They just they rap about doing drugs.
Correct.
And that's it.
Don't even.
I hate to be that guy. It's like the kids' music stinks.
No,
I swore I wouldn't be that guy. But I went to like a Migos show a few years ago, and I was like, I don't understand what they're saying. I have no idea what they're saying. It was just rap, and then sound effect. So it was like, I'm like, I don't know what that.
So
Little Yachty's in that group.
My first encounter with Little Yachty, Joe Rickson knows I am the president. I'm the founding member of the LeBron Haters Association of America. I've hated LeBron James. No. I've hated LeBron James since the draft. Since the 03 draft. Joe Rickson knows this. I encountered Little Yachty. There was a summer that he was making a commercial for Sprite, and LeBron James was the face of Sprite at the time. And they showed like he went into like this ice cave, and the ad was like, "Oh, Sprite wanted somebody to make a new commercial, and only you can do this, Little Yachty." And the lyrics were, "I want a Sprite soda. I want a Sprite soda." I'm like, what is this nonsense, brother? And that they really rolled with that.
Think about the linguists that we grew up listening to.
You know what I mean?
Michael Jackson, I actually wanted him to win until I saw Little Yachty come out with him, and then I became the biggest Sami Zayn fan on the planet. I was hoping for an upset. I knew it wasn't going to happen, but I immediately turned. No.
Just a quick touch point. We were talking about the NHL playoffs before the show started. In the West, the 3 just beat the 2. Meanwhile, the 4 is playing the 6, and the 5 is playing the 7.
The playoffs mean nothing in the NHL anymore. It is we are in.
It drives me nuts. Someone's gonna tell me. Someone's gonna say, "Oh, you look, the Flyers are better than the Dallas Stars because the Flyers got to round 2 and the Dallas Stars lost in round 1." Yeah. Anyway, sorry. I
got the NBA playoffs, the real playoffs going on in the background.
The NBA yeah. Talk about predetermined. The Knicks are up to like about 100.
They won by 51.
Oh, is that it?
Damn, they did.
Well, yeah, they were up like 48-19 at one point. Like 51-19, it was crazy.
Did they win the series with that?
Yeah.
By the way, the NBA is run by people that are not smart. I'm just putting that out there right now. to make a draft system where the 4 and through 10 teams have better odds than the 1 through 3. So tank a little bit, but not enough. Oh, okay, sure.
Well, the Sixers are about to force a game 7, so
that's gonna be
wow.
Finn versus Dom, I don't know. Like, I feel like it didn't have the juice that should have had. Like, that was like the Judgment Day blow up. Like, and the Judgment Day's been around for like 3-4 years now. Like, I feel like that was somewhat de-emphasized a little bit, and I didn't really have the payoff, in my opinion, that maybe it should have. Felt rushed again.
Yeah. Not a lot of promo work in going into that match either.
Which was weird because it felt like the easiest one for them to set up. And it felt really weird. And I know people love Demon Finn Balor. I've seen it so many times at this point. It doesn't mean anything to me anymore. Maybe if you're a kid or you're new to wrestling, that's like cool for you, but it doesn't do much for me.
The entrance is cool.
I know he's got to roll him out and all that stuff, but it's just like every few years or every once a year or whatever. But it doesn't spur excitement for me anymore.
Yeah. Rhea over Jade again. I was just surprised because I didn't think they wanted to take the belt off of Jade. I think I was the only one to pick Jade, which is fine. I'm wrong all the time. I feel like, I don't want them to Charlotte Rhea. Does that make any sense? Like, feels like she's always holding the title. And like at some point, if you're always holding a title, like then, you can't do anything else but hold a title.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I saw a stat earlier on Twitter that Roman Reigns, there's only 2 wrestlers in the current era to hold the blue, the red title, the WWE Championship, and the World Heavyweight title. Roman Reigns and Rhea Ripley.
Yeah. Look, I mean, she is a star. Don't get me wrong. It's just I feel like you go down that road, like you play that too often, it starts to lose its meaning. Because like she's had main event matches now. She was in the main event at she was in a main title at 39. She was in a main title at 40. Pretty sure she's in the main title at 41. Like it's just you're always in. Like at some point, it's got to be somebody else. I don't know. Yeah.
The my beef with the Jade Rhea match was I felt like within the first 3 minutes I could tell who was going to win that match because it started off like super one-sided, and I just didn't like how that match was scripted. I don't know. I literally like the first few minutes I was like, Rhea's going to win this. Like it felt almost too Jade loaded at the start. And so, like, from that point on, I was kind of like...
Well, like we said, going into that match, it was like 7 weeks in a row where Jade got the upper hand on Rhea on various episodes of SmackDown. So she had the momentum. She carried that into the match. But, you know, there it goes again. Rhea Ripley should not be such an underdog, so to speak, in the storyline. So that didn't make it believable because it was too much predictability with Jade going over so often going into the match.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't have happened that way.
I feel like it's if they're both powerhouses, then why not do a tit for tat on the lead up? Like you go, I go, you go, I go. You know, you get the best of me, then the next week I smash a chair over your head backstage when you don't see me. Then the next week you do something to me. Like it just felt like you're right, Lou. It felt just the setup was weird.
I wanted Jay to win. You know that, Joe.
Yeah,
Brian too. Y'all know, but
the other matches we have some other content on. Lou, what did you call me earlier in the show?
I forget.
In regards to my thoughts on advertising?
Capitalist.
Perfect. So, in my solo thought for the evening, every year, like clockwork, right? Death, taxes, and people being upset that WWE is releasing talent. And they're like, oh, look, they're jerking their dick over how much money they just made. And then the next day they're releasing people. It's just so wrong. It's just, they're so greedy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Who do you miss?
There is literally 0 people that they released that I was like, oh, bummer. I don't want to see anybody lose their job, right? Like, I don't want to see anybody lose their job. But at the same time, this is a business. And they've got a backloaded NXT roster. They got to develop people. It's no different than minor league sports, minor league, major league sports. You got to make room in your roster for the next person.
You know, sometimes contracts end. People change teams. You know, the draft picks get promoted. Like, they have a whole developmental system.
Yep.
You will sit there and you'll sit there and complain like, oh, the Motor City Machine Guns are on again. Nobody cares. Or, oh, God, the Wyatts. Or, oh, God, you know. And then they get released. Oh, my God. I can't believe that happened. Well, of course it happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I look at this list, right? So Aleister Black and Zelina Vega, that was a surprise only because they were just brought back last year.
Sure.
I never was a fan of the whole coming out with the candles thing. Like those, even Trick with like the spinner, like those just choreographed entrances with props and stuff, I've always thought were stupid. Right? You do that at WrestleMania because it's WrestleMania. Fine. I'm glad they got rid of the Cody thing. I remember the one time, I don't know if it was the second or third Raw, Cody was standing in this thing and you could see his head, right? So there wasn't like a floor beneath the thing at Raw. So like imagine that this, and then they put this riser here. So you see Cody's head like the top of a Pez dispenser, and then they raise him up and then he walks down. It was the most awkward thing I ever saw in my life.
Sure.
But like, I don't need you like laying down on this thing and awakening with the candles. Like it's just, I think that's dumb.
It's also really dumb when you're losing as much as he's losing.
Yeah.
Like he didn't put together a winning streak at all, which I felt like was kind of intentional because evidently on AEW he was a nightmare. Like he refused to lose to anybody. He thought he was the best guy around. Then WWE signs when they bring him back and they just have him lose all the time.
So the Wyatts to me never worked. They never worked. And the people that are going to be offended and say, oh, they should be honoring Bray's legacy. I thought that was a caricature from the start. Like it never made sense. And part of the reason it doesn't make sense is because you have Nikki Cross looking like the girl from The Ring coming out of a well. when 4 weeks prior she was in a superhero costume. Like, it just doesn't, like, you repackage and that's fine. Some of the best repackages ever were when they took the Smash from Demolition, made him Repo Man. The One Man Gang made him Akeem. Like, you can do that, but like, it's harder now. And like, that just to me never worked. And like, the whole thing with like, to me, the disrespect is not getting rid of the Wyatt Six. The disrespect is attempting to continue to profit off of Bray Wyatt's ideas after Bray Wyatt is dead.
Sure.
So like, I take the other side of that, saying like they tried to stretch it out. It never worked. Those weird like VHS grainy videos never worked. So like, I am not surprised.
Remember the haunted house match that was overproduced that felt like really stupid, like
With John Cena?
Yes.
Well, but
Yeah.
but that can happen in a warehouse when you have no live people. So like, I think was a moment in time that we can say, well, nobody's there. So you know what? You could do that's why you could do that graveyard match or boneyard match with The Undertaker and AJ Styles, because it doesn't really matter. In fact, that was actually better than having an empty arena in a warehouse.
Yeah.
With empty. So like, I was okay with that at the time, but it always felt like, let's try to extend Bray. Like, Bray was Bray. Like, it doesn't work.
And people
like,
seem to forget this one. People forget this point too. When Bray Wyatt had been released too, like his little gimmick ran its course. Then they released him. Then they made a whole stink about it. He had his epic return.
Didn't they put the belt on him?
It was due to medical. He was the champ. He was a WWE champ. He pinned John Cena.
And he wasn't a strong champion.
He wasn't a strong. He was a champion for like 2 weeks. He lost it right away to Randy Orton at Mania, the one in San Francisco, I think it was. It was sunny out. But Bray was released. Then they brought him back. Then they didn't use him, and then he had his medical issues. So it's not like Bray Wyatt was this superstar character that was greatly missed. People really, with the Bray Wyatt thing, because he passed away so early and so young. So it's like, he didn't retire. He was still he was still active. So that plays a part in it. But Brian, especially, my name for them was the Wyatt Sucks. I hated them. They had one chance when it was, I think, on the anniversary of his death or something was when they debuted, or the anniversary of something of Bray Wyatt. Okay, cool. Bray Wyatt. If you're gonna give me a Bray Wyatt tribute act, let's let it be that. Don't give me these dark promos and the lights go out and you're gonna come out and start. It doesn't work. It doesn't. No. Especially in
why not just have him come out
like that is horrible.
Why not just have him come out and be like angry their leader's gone and they're just breaking shit and they're just beating up on people.
Right.
Why
destroy the backstage, destroy fan signs, do something menacing.
I'm not saying the Wyatts or the Beatles, but like if John Lennon and Paul McCartney left the group and they replaced them with 2 new people, it's not the Beatles. Yeah. Like, and Bray Wyatt was the Wyatts, right?
Like, imagine it's 1997 and like Hulk Hogan crashed in a plane, so they had Sting lead the NWO. You know what I mean? Like there's, or maybe, you know what? It'd be really dumb idea is actually if you have wrestlers lead the company and then you have somebody else dress up like them and pretend they're them.
Diesel and Razor. Oh.
The Motor City Machine Guns, again, they were tag champs for a while, but like, again, there's nothing there. That doesn't, nobody cared. Apollo Crews has been in catering for 10 years. Like, I'm surprised he took this long. I liked Santos Escobar a lot. Like, I thought there was a lot of potential there. It never really happened. I'm actually really upset that music won't be played anymore because it's a really, really good song on top of it. Zoe Stark, again, filler. Alba Fire should have been gone when Isla Dawn was gone. So like Andre Chase, like people are just like, oh, I'm so sad. These people are gone. And the Kyrie scene is probably, and again, I see Sav's comment that he wanted the payoff between Santa and Asuka, and I get that. But like, she's another one. Like, she's literally, she just gives Asuka something to do other than be in the singles area.
And I don't want to sound like a jerk, but there was a stretch where WWE had like 4 of these people.
Yeah.
And like when they would come out, I'm like, they all have the same outfits and feather boas, and I'm like, we have 4 girls who are all great wrestlers, and we're literally branding them the same way. Like, I didn't. Yeah. If I came into the room, I'm like, who's on now? I don't know. It felt weird.
I get like none of it's like, oh well, I can't believe they did that.
Right.
This definitely wasn't like an R-Truth situation where people just like lost their shit.
Oh my god! So did you see the social media? Oh, we want Kyrie. Let's do this again. I'm like, okay, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And once again, give R-Truth credit. He came back and rebranded.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm not going to be the same R-Truth coming back. I'm going to cut my hair. I'm still going to be kind of stupid, but it's going to be different, right? Like,
yeah.
I'm
not necessarily. I don't like to see people lose their jobs either, because that's essentially
I don't want anybody
happened.
lose their job.
Nowadays, it's not like it's only WWE or WCW. Now you can go to GCW, or you can go to some of these rinky-dink indie operation, and you could become a bigger star.
Cardona made
WWE.
good money being the indie god.
Of course,
you can make good money doing the indie circuit.
Shotzi was a complete jobber in WWE, and Shotzi's one of the biggest indie wrestlers.
Yeah,
in the game right now. Doing indie shows, so it's not as bad now for these wrestlers, but get rid of some of these people that we aren't seeing. That I'm okay with that.
Trill London, what are we gonna do without him, Brian?
Lou, I'm gonna take you back, right? I'm gonna take you back because you're a Yankee fan. I'm gonna take you back here. You're not a Yankee fan, right? You, Joe?
No, but my dad is. I follow them. I watch them all the time. They're on our TV.
Do you remember a name from, I don't know, like the late 2000s, like 2000, 2010? Austin Jackson.
I know the name, but I'm not familiar. It'd be hard to give you stats or anything
for them. Like, that's who they traded to Detroit to get Curtis Granderson, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful. And I said at the time, it felt like, oh, he's going to go intern with Detroit for a while, and then when they make him a superstar, he'll come back to the Yankees and sign here, right?
Right.
So, like, for some of these people, they're so much better off going out and doing their own thing and making themselves bigger, because then, as I've said a million times, Vince was upset WCW didn't exist. He was very clear about that, like, because that was a pool for him. That was a talent pool. So they can talk about how they don't want AEW to, like, they want AEW to be there to a degree, just not compete with them, right? They like the idea of going to go bring AEW guys in, right? That's what they like. I mean, look at the top of the card right now, right? Guys that came from AEW. Look, the three biggest merch sales inside WrestleMania in the building were Punk, Cody, and Danhausen. What are the three in common?
AEW.
There it is. So like,
breakaways.
It's fine. Like, they make their names. So some of these people, like, it would not shock me at all if what's his name? If Escobar ends up in AAA, or any of these people end up somewhere else, they make something themselves, then they come back. Like, it's not, they need that, right? Like, yeah, they'll develop their own people, but like, they like being able to go pick other people that, I mean, look where some of the guys that brought from NXT now. Ethan Page is now on Raw. That's
AEW.
Fine. Right.
And to be honest with you, if I'm leadership at WWE, I'm still going to be watching these people.
Sure.
Because like and I saw a really great interview with Cardona where he's talking about how, like, hey, I knew I wanted to come back. I knew I had to be better. And so I was going to do my own thing and not think about that. Like, and almost by becoming, I don't want to say acting like I don't care about WWE, I'm becoming the indie guy. Like, that has to make you more attractive to your WWE. You're like, wow, this guy left us and he's crushing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he has made it himself, right? Like, to me, that's like something that you admire, right? Like,
and it's not so taboo anymore either, Joe.
No,
like,
well, it's like the what's her name? The comedian from SNL, was it Leslie Jones? I think she has a famous bit about how, like, people are like, oh, how could that first station that fired Oprah fire Oprah? Well, because she wasn't Oprah yet. She needed to get fired, right? Like, that's how Oprah became Oprah. She got canned because she wasn't good, and then she figured it out and got better. Jordan got cut from his team, right? Like, it's not the end of the world, not the end of the road. But at the same time, like, some of these people, like, you have to make your own road sometimes, and a lot of people just not capable of doing it. And sometimes you just get lucky. Sometimes you get in a match, it winds up being really good, and you don't predict it's going to be as good, and you get a natural push. Like, all these things play into.
But like, they're mad. The fans, and I mean the fans. I really mean the AEW people that just anything WWE does is wrong. Everything's wrong. They get mad they're not being promoted on TV. They get mad that they get released. Like, oh, what do you want them to do? Like, put them in the main event? You laugh at that too. Like, it doesn't. There's no. You can't please everybody, right?
It's not a charity. It isn't a charity. This is not a charity.
This is a publicly traded
corporation whose only responsibility, fiduciary responsibility,
Yeah.
is to make money for its shareholders.
This may shock you. It's a for-profit business. Oh, the tickets are expensive. Then don't buy them. Somebody else will. Like it's like this is not the.
And you know what? If the tickets don't sell, then the brand will reassess and they'll probably make a better product because you're not happy that the tickets didn't sell. Like this is business. It's how business works.
Is that a free market, Joe? Oh my god!
Oh my god! Oh, can you imagine?
Anyway, all right. We and I mean me in this case. I thought coming into WrestleMania that Oba would that whatever happened in this match. I thought Brock should win the match. He didn't. We'll talk about that in a second. That what was going to happen was Gunther was going to have that he's going to beat Seth and have that favor hanging over Paul's head, and the favor was going to be I want Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam in a retirement match, and then he could beat Brock. Now, the shocker of the weekend, frankly, is when you see Brock Lesnar start taking his gloves and his boots off. We're like, whoa! And like people, now the funny part was that was on national television, ESPN. Like, what does that mean? I had to explain it to people, right? Because here's my question to you. I have my thoughts. Do you think we've seen the end of Brock Lesnar in the ring? Do you think that was legit? It was what it was. He's off to go farming and bang Sable, whatever. Is that like just your thoughts on that?
Real quick, Lou, the first thing I thought of when that match ended was your melanin comment from the last show about how Brock Lesnar does not.
He doesn't lose.
He doesn't lose. And so I'm like, and so the first thing I was like, did he lose to a black guy and quit? Just say, I'm done.
Part of that comment,
the business, I can't do it anymore.
My favorite part of that comment was he said melatonin, like he was trying to be funny.
That was the first thing I thought. I was like, oh my god, Lou's right. They're like, you're gonna the Triple H like you're gonna lose to the black guy, and he was like, I'm done.
I've had enough of this. I'm out of here.
I don't know. I feel like it doesn't make once again. And Brian, like once again, to preface the pre-Mania show, you said that all the good ideas we had probably wouldn't happen because it's WWE. And I feel like this is one of those things where like this makes too much sense. It would have been too good, so they didn't do it. So I don't know what to make of this. If he leaves, fine. I think it'd be dumb because I feel like there's a million different directions they can go with this storyline. But yeah, he could have just lost to a black guy and quit. I mean, that could just be the
end all be all. I'm out of here. No, I think we have seen the last of Brock Lesnar because I mean he was coming back for one appearance a year anyway. And I don't think Brock Lesnar is the type of human being with everything we know about him and what he's shown over the years. Like he actually cried while he was taking off his boots. He like showed genuine emotion. And I don't know if the Brock Lesnar we have seen all these years would actually cry and show that level of emotion if it wasn't real. And if there's one human being on earth that if he does not want to take one step, nobody will make him. It's Brock Lesnar. If he says he's done and he wants to go farming and go bang Sable, that's what he's gonna do. And I don't see it. Will TKO be willing to shell out? What would be the cost? $5 million, $10 million for that one appearance? That might make him move.
What does Saudi Arabia want to pay to get him to come out to an event?
Well,
yeah,
to do the opening card. I don't know. He don't need the money.
He's 48 years old, guys. He's not a spring chicken anymore either.
No.
So, I think when he cried, when he shed those tears, that made me believe that it was actually real. If he didn't cry, then maybe okay, you could do one more. Maybe Gunther gets mad at Paul and puts him in a sleeper hold, and he comes back for one more. You're not gonna hit Paul one more. But he cried in front of the world, and that's not Brock Lesnar. To me, it felt real when he cried.
And I will say this: I feel like one of the things Brock Lesnar has never gotten enough credit in his career for is he does put people over well. He loses good.
Sure.
And I don't think he's ever got enough credit for that. There's a lot of big time guys in the Hall of Fame right now that did not do that very well.
Sure.
And they did not lose well.
Hmm.
Brock has lost well. So if that's how he's going to go out, then kudos to him for saying that that's when he's done. And at least he's going out allowing somebody else to get over, which once again, kudos to him for doing that. I don't know. You're probably right. I don't. Brock Lesnar does not seem the type of person that would fake this sort of. It doesn't seem like it's something that's in his MO. Where it's like, oh, I'm putting the booze out, and then 3 weeks later he shows up with Heyman again. Like it just doesn't.
Right.
He doesn't feel like that type of guy. Maybe his daughter makes an appearance in WWE at some point.
Comes with a salmon-colored suit, a lot left in the tank. So here's my take on this. I do not think it's been his last match. I think that they've been very cautious how they describe it. You know, like they choose their words carefully. I think what you do here is it's going to end up being SummerSlam again. And he would have the biggest face reaction there is, with the location being Minneapolis. If you play this out where again Gunther wants the favor and Paul's like, I can't do that. There's no way I can't do that. And it's got to be one of those things where like it gets progressively worse over time. Like it's not exactly like, you know, Scott Hall in a freezer, but like it's like he just starts to like, you know, the attack and everything else. And then Brock shows up, and then you can run a stipulation where this is going to be my last match. This is my last match, no matter what happens. Right. And I think to a degree, I don't know where they can go with the career killer thing, because I don't know if there's anybody else left to kill. Right.
There's a couple names out there.
Well, who would you say? So hold on. So Jericho didn't come. Styles is out. Cena's out. Who are your people that you think would fit that?
Realistically, people at the end of the rope that I could see retiring relatively soon. You got Rey Mysterio still. You got
that could happen on its way.
He is Rey Mysterio, Joe.
No, that can happen on its way. But go ahead.
That could happen on its way. Rey Mysterio, Randy Orton might be on the last heels because he's not a spring chicken anymore, and he's dealing with a lot of injuries over the years. So I'm just naming guys that are in that wheelhouse of can go. I don't know who else. I think that's pretty much it. Rey Mysterio and Randy Orton, which would be 2 humongous notches on his belt anyway.
I don't want to see Rey Mysterio.
No, you could do Rey. I think Randy wants to be the new Undertaker, and he said that something to that
once
effect.
A year.
So humor me. If you have Brock say this will be my last match, and then you just swerve it, and Brock beats him, you're not the career killer anymore. And now you kind of built your way off of that ramp you put yourself on. Now that you kind of don't have many options to do it, because like. The thing about him is like you don't want him to always be in the spot where it's Gunther versus somebody who's old, so he's gonna win. Like the predictability becomes too much. So like if you get that, imagine I forget that guy's name now. You know the when he beat the Undertaker, like like oh my god, Gunther lost a career-ending.
All the surrender Cobra people in the crowd.
So if it were me, and it's not, but if it was, I would run that exact storyline starting in like June. What's the next? I mean, I don't know when you would do a match with Rey. It's got to be beforehand. Maybe you build up to. I don't know. But the point is, I think once he goes through Rey, he's like, I got one left. I want Brock, and you make that match happen. But the swerve is Brock beats him, and Brock retires on top because Brock's the one that beat the Undertaker streak. So he can be that, right?
But at the end of the day, Brian, do we believe WWE has the ability to pull that off? Like we say all the time, the best idea is the one they don't choose.
100%.
So like,
but you can't do that either because then you kill. Somebody has to take the reins and take WWE into the future. And if you want to make Gunther your mega heel, you beat the guy who beat the guy. You can't have that.
You can only be mega heel for so long though, too, right?
Somebody's got to be, and they don't have it right now. They don't have a mega heel in WWE. They don't. Everybody's a face. Everybody who's worth anything is a face.
But doesn't that make you appreciate how hated Dom was for a while?
Oh yeah.
Like I don't think once again I don't think Dom will ever get as much credit as he should for how over heel he was.
Yeah.
Like I saw a great interview with Lin-Manuel Miranda talking about how he wishes he could write a character that was so hated. Like if he could write a character for a play that was as hated as Dom was at the peak Dom, right? Like, but I don't know. I
But
just
then
want
he
to
became cool. It became cool. You
yeah.
booed him now, just like to be part of the we're booing Dom. Now it's cool and funny now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He wasn't like a Triple H level. Like
Yeah.
he wasn't
No.
Thanos.
No,
When Triple
but
H was Thanos. You know what I mean?
yeah, I just don't have any confidence that WWE is going to be able to pull together a great storyline like that. Right? That sounds perfect. It sounds great. I just don't think WWE will pull that off.
Yeah, that's fair. Which should also concern you about the winner of that match, right? Because what I had said, which I think is true, if Oba beats Brock, then what? And we're at the then what now, right? Because you had this tease of him and Roman eventually. The promo where he opened up Raw and just said one thing and left, that was Reigns after WrestleMania 33. This is my yard now. And I feel like there's a balance between pushing and over pushing. And like they're teetering on it. And look, the guy's hot, right? You got people in pro sports doing the thing I think is dumb. That
The march
thing. Yeah, I think it's dumb. Whatever. I think a lot of things are dumb. Doesn't mean they are. Just means I think they're dumb. But where do you go from here? You just beat Brock Lesnar, which again, there's cachet to that. Like, where do you? Who? Like, are they trying to recreate Goldberg? Like, I don't know. I don't think they're smart enough to pull it off. So now I'm like, are you going to Jey Uso this guy? Like, are you going to push him to the nth degree so far that it just jumps the shark and then you don't care anymore?
Yeah, no. Oh, I've started to see some rumblings online that Oba is just and if you really look at it, he really is just an entrance right now. Like his entrance is the coolest aspect of his work in WWE thus far. But I mean, you know, if you look at his work in that, he was really great in NXT. He had a lot of good matches with a lot of people. But at a certain point, like this destroyer gimmick, and this is one thing that I think made Brock Lesnar such a commodity, was that you didn't see him that often. And when he came, you knew it was go time. You knew it was business. So now with Oba having this open challenge, is he gonna who's gonna accept the challenges? Then they have to get squashed, because if you give him a real match, now he's not the destroyer and the ruler. And then if you squash somebody who comes in, what was the point of that? It's like, if you're not gonna put him in a championship feud already, you're gonna run the risk of LA Knighting him. Where LA Knight, they just kept pushing it back and pushing it back, pushing it back. Now it's like, well, now I don't even care, because now the strut is over. 6 months from now, the strut thing is over, and he hasn't really done anything, you know. So like, I fear that he's closer to jumping the shark than, and he's got all the tools. He really does. But he's closer to jumping the shark than main eventing WrestleMania.
He's got so much.
That makes sense.
He does.
Joe Rickson?
No, I agree with you. I mean, you've nailed it. Like, I don't know. I just don't know what they do. And I feel a lot like the difference, though, because I'm trying to think of like what else I would compare it to, of like a person who entered the championship hunt that I felt like didn't necessarily deserve it or wasn't ready for it. I think about the Kofi push and how like
Kofi Mania.
Yeah. And you know me, I was not a fan of Kofi Mania. I told you when they pushed him, I thought he wasn't going to be a good champion. He wound up not being a good champion, right? Like, it's a little bit different, but I just feel like they're moving a guy without really having a pathway for him that makes sense. And like I said, if let's think about it this way, if the Mania card is not as weak as it is, does this match happen? Do they feel like they have to give us giant versus giant sort of thing? I don't know, right? Like, was this build up a product of the weakness of the card to provide a sort of a wow factor?
Good point.
I think that's something they consider too. But the problem is when you do that, where does it come back to you, right? Like, and I don't know if they might have thought that we'll deal with that when we get there. But the problem is this show is on twice a week. Like, you don't have the time to say we'll figure it out. I think that's the dilemma.
Again, they rushed Jay to capitalize on where Jay was. Jay couldn't handle it, and then Jay went back to what Jay was.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Main event
Let's be honest, Brian. We talk about this all the time. Sometimes the fans are wrong.
Sure.
Like when they pushed Kofi, is wrong, right? When they pushed Jay, it was wrong, right? Like, I still feel like the fans are wrong a lot of the time, and then giving the fans what they want. It's a delicate balance. You want to give them what they want and push the people they want to, but at the same time, you have to acknowledge when somebody is not going to be strong. I think that's the dilemma.
You said the secret word. He said acknowledge. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like I said, my fear.
And then you know what else, Brian, too, before I forget this one too. The danger you run with having a Goldberg-esque persona in WWE is like, I just had to think about it. We just talked about it, who the Intercontinental Champion was. He's gonna destroy Penta. If he were to go after the Intercontinental Championship, he's gonna destroy Penta.
I don't think you can even put him in that. I think he just. You ever see the meme where like you step over 6 steps?
Yeah,
that's what he did. Like, I think he's past that already.
Right.
I don't.
And that's what I'm saying.
No, you cannot go for beating Brock Lesnar to a mid card. You're there. But right. That's why they didn't need to do again. If this was the play because this is Brock's out, okay, then I get it. Like, I get that to a degree, and maybe that is what it is. But like now, he's not going for the Intercontinental title. He's not going for a U.S. title. Like, he's going to be. If you told me right now, you're probably going to get Reigns and Obafemi for the title at SummerSlam. Like, that's probably what you're going to get.
Right. And the only other guy I could see him give him a good match was Rusev, and he squashed him already. So now there's nobody else really. He might have like an influx of like TNA guys making their first appearance on Raw, like Moose or something, making his Raw debut, just to give him somebody even reasonable to wrestle. So I don't know.
Where would this company be if not for Tony Khan? And but being dead serious. We said for a while, like, this was the big thing. Like, they need to best stars. They need to get stars. Well, they can go pluck stars. But if Tony Khan does not give Cody a lot of money and find, a way to bring Punk back, like, none of this, where the hell are they? Right?
Yeah.
So anyway, now Roman's got the belt that he made fun of, which I like the way they're twisting that into the man makes the belt. Cody kept the title, which I think was more of a, they didn't like TKO's direction on how they wanted to do it. So they may have delayed it. Again, I still feel like that Cody's going to drop it, get it back, just to raise his number up so they can put him up with the Mount Rushmore people. And then Punk's got nothing at all right now, but Punk and Cody have had a thing. Roman's now going up against Jacob. Just your general thoughts on the title situation, right? The title picture, right? Because now you have, I don't think they're going to do Cody. They could do Cody Punk at SummerSlam. Like, that's totally doable. They could wait until 43. That's totally doable. I think Roman's not going to drop this belt for a while, in my opinion. He's going to hold it at least until SummerSlam, probably further. So I like the Jacob thing. That was kind of out of nowhere, but worked. Because I don't know what they're going to do, right? But just your general thoughts on the title picture at the moment. Like, who am I not seeing that's going to get involved here?
Joe?
I'm not going to get that deep. I'll just tell you my ancillary thoughts. There are people that I'm just kind of tired of right now. I'm kind of tired of all of these people.
Well, that's a problem.
Like, I feel like I've been over Cody for a long time. Maybe that was because of the whole Rock thing before, like that whole lead up. I just like, and then Roman, like, we've been through this before too. Like, I'm not saying that like they need to distribute the belt to everybody. I feel like I woke up and it's the same as it was, and it was the same as it was a year before that. Like, I'm just over some of these. I'm just not excited about any of these. excited about Cody when I'm not excited about Roman. It's just it just feels very like vanilla right now. I guess so they could change my mind, right? Like the new Roman beef should be good, but I guess I'm just over Cody having a belt at this point, and I'm ready for someone else to have it. It's like I don't know.
Yeah, I guess the championship scene is very stale. I do think it's funny. It's kind of putting him. Yeah, the Bloodline. I guess this would be Bloodline version 3.0 because the MFTs was 2.0. This is now Bloodline 3.0.
When in doubt, go back to what you know.
When in doubt, go back to what like. I guess I like the idea better than actually seeing it. Like it feels like, damn, WWE, what are we doing, brother? Like we're really rehashing the same stories. We're in extra innings at this point. If Paul Heyman, if we were in the third inning after 39, we're in the 15th inning with the Bloodline. But I do still like Roman Reigns as champion because I was just talking to Carlos about this earlier actually. Roman Reigns, when he comes into arena, he's the man. There's no doubt about it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. He
has gotten a lot better on the mic over the last
gotten
few
a lot
years.
better. He is the man in WWE, in all of pro wrestling. It's Roman Reigns, and then to a degree, Cody's right there, but it's Roman Reigns, and there's separation between Reigns and Cody Rhodes. The problem with WWE at this point is that the point I was making to Carlos was that I saw on Facebook today the clip where Roman Reigns asked The Rock to acknowledge him as tribal chief before WrestleMania 40. And if you go back and watch that clip, Roman was kind of like timid to ask The Rock to acknowledge him, right? So the point is that The Rock is such a big star that even Roman Reigns looks like a jabroni compared to The Rock. And that's a problem because if your main guy looks like a jabroni to somebody who comes once every 4 years, you really have nothing going on below. There's no credible people to beat Roman Reigns, not even Cody Rhodes.
I mean, but also he was still doing the tribal chief gimmick. Who are you the tribal chief of? Like there was a stretch there where he was the tribal chief of nobody.
Right, but that goes with Roman Reigns. When he comes into the arena, people wake up, people sit at attention, people acknowledge him. Roman Reigns moves the needle. So that's why you keep the title on him. Rehashing the bloodline is not my cup of tea. But at the same time, if he's your top guy right now, you have to keep your top guy at the top because the next guy down has no legitimate shot without, going back to the MCU references, without the Avengers coming in to help him. Nobody's beating Roman Reigns right now. And that makes your main event situation stale because Cody is your next guy up. And then there's space between him and everybody else. You know what I mean? So there's nobody credible anymore other than who you've been seeing. And that makes for a stale
but that's where they
scene.
But that's where they want to try to that's where they're trying to rush build Oba.
Yeah.
Because they know it. What are they like? If you had to map out 43 right now, it's the same rotation of main eventers. Like I said, they now have 4 main eventers, right? So like this is like they know like they have to get people up, they have to raise them up, and I think that there's a balance between rushing that to get there and doing it correctly. Like, okay, hockey reference. What do I know, right? So the Rangers are at a crossroads currently where they're not that good. Do you rush, go out and sign somebody to try to be good, try to be okay next year, or do you just suck it up for a while and build from within with the draft, right? So with WWE, like, do we just suck it up for a while and do a slow build and get somebody to be a legitimate star over time, or do we just try to burn them out to get them there sooner, running the risk of blowing it up?
Mm-hmm.
But again,
I just don't like when Triple H first came around and was involved, things were great and we were really excited. Where did it go off the rails? Where all of a sudden it became a boring. I was trying to think about this earlier. At what point did it just become stale? Now I think a lot of that was the Forced Rock storyline. I think that was a big part of it. And then when they were on that Unreal show, trying to get us to buy the bullshit narrative they were pushing of, oh, this was totally organic and we're stupid, we're dumb. I think that was a big part of it because I think that so much was coming top down from TKO that I think they were trying to prioritize keeping corporate happy versus writing good storylines. And I feel like this is where they're paying the price for that. It's not an immediate 1 week from now thing, but now it's like we're a year from that. And it's like, oh, wow, like this is not good. Like we're starting to pay the price for all of those sacrifices, sellouts a year or two ago. Now those chickens are sort of coming home to roost.
Well, Triple H came into like his first WrestleMania by himself was that WrestleMania 40. So he came into the hottest story that probably was the apex of wrestling, that whole build to WrestleMania 40. And then, another thing that killed it was the long-term storytelling that were like, we knew that Cody or whoever, Gunther, whoever wasn't going to lose the title till next year's WrestleMania. So we know everything in between is filler. And that it's like, we know what's coming. So that's like when Drew won the title, that was a shock because nobody expected Cody to lose the title there. But I just they haven't built up any new stars, man. And the stars that were coming up, they pushed to the side, man. LA Knight should have been a world champion at some point. But again, you hit the roadblock of the two champions and then space between everybody else. LA Knight, without the Money in the Bank, wasn't going to beat Cody or Roman one-on-one. So I don't know. I don't know.
Go back to that. Like I know people say, "Oh, it should." Maybe they. I don't know. They could go back to that.
To who?
They could go back to LA Knight.
Nah, he jumped the shark already.
LA Knight.
He still gets some of the biggest pops in the building.
Yeah. He does, but he's a jobber now. We know he's a jobber. He's a jobber to the Usos. We know this.
I don't agree with you at all, man. I think they could put him to the top of the storyline in a month and figure that out, and he'd fit.
Look, if LA Knight won Money in the Bank, would you be surprised?
I mean, I would be shocked relative to.
Is that because
they haven't given him to him yet?
Would you be shocked because it's not deserving, or because you think that they don't see him that way?
Because they don't see him that way.
Okay, so remove your perception out of it. LA Knight can possibly win. You can immediately put him back where he was. Like that.
It's that simple.
In a minute.
Sure.
Yeah.
You could have it. They're still going to do this like King of the Ring gets the crown and the title. Oh, that's going to be Obafemi. Never mind. As you were.
and to be honest with you, like if LA Knight won Money in the Bank and they pushed him, I'm immediately back into the product.
Yeah.
Right. Because like I almost feel like I think there's a lot of people out there that wanted that push and they didn't get it, and now they feel vindicated. They're bought back in now. They're done. Like they're ready to go. They feel like they want to be part of the train going back uphill. Like I think they can put it back.
I see, but now here's a bigger problem. Here's a bigger problem moving forward with that. He has no problem with Cody. He has a problem with the bloodline. So if he's gonna try to cash in, it'll probably on Roman, and he's not beating Roman Reigns. I don't care what stipulation you have. He's not beating Roman Reigns.
But that's today. That changes with one Raw. Things go quick. I'm telling you, things go.
I don't know.
Things go quick. Things get dropped. You have again. They beat them, right? I don't know.
I'm telling you.
Well, I want to end with this because Nick Khan was on something talking about how they want to have AI start writing storylines. And my question here is that brilliant or is it idiotic? And the answer is both.
Both.
Right. So here's why it's both. As I said before, there is a nuance to wrestling that not everybody gets. It's one of those things where if you understand it, no explanation is needed. If you don't, no explanation will do, right? It's the only way I can explain it. So the reason the Pat McAfee thing didn't work was because it sounded good to somebody who doesn't understand wrestling, right? Other things work because, we watch wrestling. And it's the most obvious thing in the world, but then they do it, and it's great because we understand wrestling. So the idiocy... So they were going to put Aleister Black as the guy that was getting involved with Randy Orton. Tell me that wasn't ChatGPT. Convince me that wasn't an AI something that said, "Oh, here's a guy, he's first on the list, whatever, alphabetically. We'll use him. Here's how it's going to work." I will not believe a human being thought of that knows wrestling. Okay. The idiocy is it's not going to understand the nuance of wrestling and will look at things very black and white, very analytically, like AI should, and miss things. But it will think of things that don't make sense to wrestling. They may make beautiful sense logically. This is not logic. This is wrestling. You are applying things that don't apply, right?
Yeah.
So the idiocy part is that. The brilliance of it is, well, if you don't like it, the computer thought of it. Don't blame me. My idea. This is the computer. You got to put more money into this. Another data center, power that shit up. So it's both, right? As a wrestling fan, again, it's it's kind of funny. The original AI was the Raw general manager.
Yeah.
Whatever. But like, I don't want this. Right?
They'll just make AI the Raw. They'll make the computer the general manager of Monday Night Raw. It'll just be computer. Somewhere it'll be the where I think, because I use AI for certain things at my work, right? I use AI mostly in helping me write and craft things that I need to be a little bit more diplomatic, or maybe I'm not sure how to write an email. Like if I'm saying a particular important email, I'll put it into ChatGPT.
I don't tell the person to go fuck themselves. Yeah.
Which I basically did that. And I prompted. I was like, right, this is how I feel. Write this in a diplomatic way. It did a very good job, right? So I do think there are tools when it comes to like maybe scripting out a promo, where if it has enough data, it could maybe fix that, right? It could formulate maybe a better promo. Or the problem with AI is it is also designed to reaffirm your feelings and to make you feel like a genius. So when you talk to AI, the response it's going to give you is going to be geared towards what it thinks you want to hear. Mm-hmm. And so if I'm using AI for things to write things for me, it's ultimately going to produce ideas that it thinks I want to see. And so my fear is that it will confirm really, really bad ideas from people who already have really, really bad ideas.
Did you watch this?
You're a genius. This is a great idea, Nick Khan. We should have Pat McAfee in more things.
Wait, did you watch the South Park? Where the AI told Randy to take his weed farm and make it like a digital something.
Yeah. No, and so it's like that's my fear, just from like a technical, logical aspect of AI, is that there is no way to remove the bias. Like we act like AI is 100% logical, but it's also a user geared product, and it's only as good as the person who's using it. And what you're feeding it. That's the thing. And so my fear is that someone with really bad ideas who doesn't understand wrestling is going to start putting things in the computer, and it's going to start regurgitating out crap. And I also think there's also going to be a pendulum shift with AI too. Mark Cuban talks about this a lot, right? That like things are going to become so optimized and so AI focused and so impersonal that people are going to start to demand that it swings back the other way.
Oh yeah,
they're going to say this is slop. You're already sort of seeing it now, right? That Coca-Cola for the Super Bowl like 2 years ago, people went absolutely nuts, right? So you're starting to see that. If people find out that a product that they really, really love and enjoy is using AI because their writing staff sucks so fucking bad they have to rely on a computer to develop storylines, I'm done. I'm out. I'm out. Like to me, this is humanity. You designing a product and a show that you think people will want to watch and enjoy. And I'm a little bit on an anti AI kick recently, but that's if I find out that they're using AI to write storylines, I might just shut it off, because I don't want that. I want people to write good storylines And you're telling me that of all the people in the universe that you need a computer because your writing room's not good? Fire the whole fucking writing room.
Have you considered just watching our show?
Like, I just that's what drives me. That's what just drives me. But that's my thing. If you're using AI as a tool, then it means that you are failing as a producer of the product, and you should just fire yourself.
Yeah, I'm largely against AI. I tell the team I work with at work, like I work from home, and we do subsidy billings for between HUD and the company I work for. So I oversee, I don't know, like $5 million a month. So we had a big meeting about AI at work, and everybody's like, oh, I use AI to do this, and I use AI to do that. Oh, AI is great. So I had to send a private DM to my specific team. Like, guys, don't say you use AI. Like, this is not, they want you to use AI. They're trying to get rid of us, right? This is just me going back and forth with the team. But like, I'm largely against the AI just because, like, if you can't write an email yourself, like, that's a skill issue. If you can't be diplomatic in, like, you could, if you're in a corporate room with a bunch of suit and ties, you can filter yourself to speak the corporate jargon, or you know your audience enough to be able to speak to your audience of where you're at. If you can't do that in an email, that's a skill issue by and large. Like, get yourself right. Stop using AI. All right.
It also makes you weak mentally. Like, if you're constantly relying on the technology and not, once again, I'll use it to help me identify a certain word. Like, hey, should I take this word out? Like, I'm still like having a deliberation in my head about language.
I used AI today for the first time. I used it for the first time because somebody asked me a question, and I'm like, I know the answer to this question, but they were like pushing against it, where it's like they were asking me for a report, and I'm like, lady, just pull the rent roll. The rent roll has the report that you need. No, but we need this, we need that, and I'm like, lady, pull this report. This is where you find it. So I literally went to the thing. I was like, what report is this? And it gave me the report that I'm telling the lady to pull. You know what I mean? So it was like one of those things where, like, all right, lady, here, let me just show you that I know what I'm talking about. But I think AI, too much use of AI, especially in WWE, like you said, I think it'll co-sign that Roman Reigns needs to have the title for 50 more years, because that has worked for so many years. There's no reason AI would, unless you tell it, hey, we kind of want to start shying away from Roman, which at that point, just write something to start shying away from Roman.
But in their quote, like the leaked quotes from WWE and TKO, they have said that AI is not going to be used as a script writing tool. It's going to be used as like a market research engine. But once again, it's all about how you interpret the data. And just because something's doing well right now, does AI have the ability to say, oh, Roman's making us a lot of money right now, but is that going to work in 6 months? Or is AI going to say, hey, Roman's made us a lot of money, let's just keep pushing Roman Reigns? Like, it's not going to see the storyline 6 months down the road.
So two things. I generally
also, I don't believe that for a second, that they're not using it for writing.
Of course.
I write a weekly column for my local paper. What I generally use AI for is once I've wrote it myself, I'm like, can you just like condense this a little bit? Because I'm very wordy, right? And I say a lot, and my wife will tell me this is too long. This is too long. I can't. You got okay, fine. And I'll read it, and I'll still tweak it because I don't like the way it words it, but I'll make sure my thoughts are there. She said to me in the car the other day that I thought was very, very. So she works in graphic design. It's like all these people that use AI for they all look exactly the same. They all look exactly the same, and you know it's AI. And I don't know about you, but like when I see what was very obviously an AI generated thing, like I just like
I scroll past. I'm out.
Yeah, it doesn't because it all looks exactly the same, right?
And we saw it in other things too when they first rolled out. Like I'm in the ad world when all these companies all like they were too cheap to start hiring voiceover artists, so they started using AI voiceovers. Like, and everybody figured out what the AI voiceovers were. The ad stopped performing. So people were like, I'm not fucking buying this thing. It's you clearly just put this into a computer and told a computer what to say. This isn't creative.
I coach sales, and at the end of the day, if you do not sound like yourself, it doesn't matter what you are saying. You could be curing cancer with your voice. If you sound like you are reading from a script or not, you have lost all credibility.
Sure.
They will never remember what you said. They'll remember how you made them feel. And I've done very well in my life just being myself. I've not whatever. The thing about it, doesn't AI crowdsource information from like Reddit and stuff like that?
It pulls from the net. It pulls
Well, that's my
already.
point,
From
like,
the
if you
It
have
internet.
pulls it, and it pulls from other ChatGPT conversations. It's a learning model.
self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay.
Yeah.
So like if
Yeah.
you start talking, if I create a bunch of content saying that Ray Phoenix should be the world heavyweight champion, here's a bunch of, and I just keep posting that places, like, will AI pick that up and suggest that to somebody?
It's possible somewhere along the
Potentially,
line.
or it will keep reaffirming your stupid idea that should be the case. Like that, it's designed to make you feel good about yourself.
Right.
I mean, that's the
So
big
now,
problem with AI right now is people are talking about killing themselves on the platform. The platform's like, you should do that because you're so smart. It sounds like a great idea.
This is not a right or left. I don't care. What you are explaining is a complete disaster for American politics. Because everyone's going to think they're right.
Yeah.
The reality is none of them are right. They're dumb. I don't care what side. You are a moron. Your idea makes no sense. It's not grounded in any sort of logic, but the computer will tell you that you're so smart. And then I don't like where my logic is taking me with that. So I'm going to let that go before I go on a soapbox. I don't want to do that. Again, I think it, I don't think, for the same reason that Ari Emanuel doesn't understand the nuance of wrestling, neither's a goddamn computer. That's my point.
Yeah.
My point is that this specific media is unlike anything else, right? We say all the time, it can be predictable if it makes sense, right? Again, sometimes things don't make sense, but they're just awesome. Like when Kevin Owens won the Universal Championship on Raw that one time, like that completely came out of nowhere, but it was awesome, right? So like, is a computer going to think of that swerve? Like the nonsense swerve that somehow makes sense because it's wrestling? Like that's the point where I just don't think it's there, right? You know,
I think maybe if they use it as like a supplemental, just let's see what story this gives me, and then from there, like even with the AI now, somebody has to go behind it and make sure that there's not like a line of stars or like there's not lines on top of words here. You still have to go behind it. So maybe if they say, hey, give me this storyline, and then somebody else, the team could tweak it and go somewhere else, but as a general basis, maybe that could work. But again, I'm large. I'm John Connor. I'm against Skynet. I've seen The Matrix. I know what the machines want to do. I am so against AI usage. It's not even funny. So, I don't like it point blank. But if they're going to use it,
I went to ChatGPT. I asked who should be the main event of WrestleMania 43. Write me a storyline to get there. Now, just for fun, I'm going to read this verbatim. If you want WrestleMania 43 to feel like the biggest show of the year and not just another premium live event with a fancy logo, you don't play it safe. You build around legacy, obsession, and a collision that feels inevitable. Main event, Cody Rhodes versus Braun Breaker. The past versus the future of WWE. The story, you built this, I'm taking it. Act 1, the champion who finished the story. Now what? Cody Rhodes enters late 2026 on top of WWE. He's no longer chasing the title. He is the standard. The promo shift. It's less about Dusty, more about legacy, more about responsibility. But here's the wrinkle. The crowd starts to slightly cool. Not turning, but the hunger is gone. Cody's speeches start sounding like a man trying to convince himself the story isn't over. Meanwhile, Braun Breaker is tearing through the roster, not just winning, obliterating. Short matches, ruthless finishes, no wasted motion. He wins the Royal Rumble in dominant fashion, eliminating 6 men, and stared directly to the hard cam after dubbing the final opponent. He doesn't point at the sign, he just says, "You're next." There's many acts, okay? I'm not going to read all of this, but that's what it said.
It sounds better than the current WWE writing staff already.
So I take back everything I just said. Just do this.
So I just asked GPT the same thing, and it gave me Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns, Legacy versus Dynasty. And then a myriad of other items.
I mean, so far in Act 3, Dustin Rhodes returns.
Hey, I'll take that.
And that's at the end. If you want me to interject MJF, let me know. My point is, we watch guys fake play fight in their underwear for a story, right? Again, we don't fantasy book arm bars and arm drags. Like, if you're just gonna do that, like, I don't really care. Like, give me something natural. We can tell the difference, right? So,
I think like the way you explain it, like I think Lou, you've been over to my house before, and we've been going to wrestling events, right? Like, and like I think my wife is always surprised at how silly we know it is, and like how good, like we laugh the whole time we're watching it, and like we're just giving each other crap. Like I think she thought when like we got married that it was like, oh, you guys are like actually like you get really into this, and like there are times we get excited, right? But we ultimately know what it is, right? And you shouldn't need AI to do that for you.
Right.
Like, just make good decisions and think about the fan. Like, this really isn't hard. Like perfect. Could AI have created what's become our truth over the last few years? Like, that concept just works. It works, and the fans like him. Could AI have developed that idea? Like, our truth is just he's a 24/7 champion. He's constantly getting into trouble. He just shows up when he's not. Like, I think about all the great promos he's cut. Like when that great one where Cody was in the room by himself and R-Truth comes up and he's like, have you had the shrimp? It's great. Like that type of thing is so good, and because it feels so organic. I don't know if you can create that in an AI model. Like, it just doesn't.
I do like that
it doesn't work.
storyline though, but I think Braun Breaker's on his way there anyway. So like, you should, again, maybe we're old timers looking at it. You shouldn't really need AI to build that story for you. It's already built in there. Like you can get there without AI, because you start relying too much on AI, it's gonna come a point where it disappoints you, and you don't like what it does, or again, it reaffirms something that you really don't want to happen. And if that's your main storytelling, you got to go with it. What happens if it tells you to push Damian Priest? Because that's a compelling. They had a Twitter battle 2 weeks ago, and now they want to see, like, what happens then. You know what I mean? Like,
I
there's
asked
enough
AI.
wrestling fans out there
Yeah.
that you could put a room together of people to make a story if you really needed it.
In my NFL draft show prep, because I get all the visuals and stuff together, I said, I don't watch college football. I said, can you make me a list of the top 50 prospects? And it named guys from like 4 years ago.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
It's not, like I said, I've used it for so many things, and I've literally had to be like, that's not what I asked you. Or it's like one time I used it for like a cover letter, writing a cover letter for something, and it gave me like the wrong job title, and I was like, what for a different company? I'm like, good thing I paid attention before I just copied and pasted this into LinkedIn. Like, but once again, like, we know that they're working on. It's all about making money, so they're figuring out a million ways to use this product outside of whatever they think it is. But yeah, I wonder. Like I said, I just wonder internally if I really hope they're not using it as a writing resource.
I think it's nice because they can blame it when it's bad. They will privatize gains and socialize losses.
Yeah, but like at the end of the day, like that doesn't, like, it's not like when Nick Khan comes out and admits, hey, WrestleMania being not great was on me. Like, that's a human taking accountability. Now, whether I think he's the fall guy, that's fine. But he's like, oh, that's on me. But like, if you blame the computer, like now you look at idiot because you're blaming the computer. You're like, hey, you can't blame me. It's Claude. It's Claude's fault that that WrestleMania didn't work the way it was supposed to. The fans won't.
And
is
there enough of a segment that like you were saying, Brian, you just bypass, if you sniff that something is AI, you bypass it. Do you now run the risk of, if the writers blame the computers, do we really run the risk of like, oh, we're done. We're not watching you no more until you give us real guys. Do they run the risk of that?
Yes, except I will quote George Carlin. Think of how dumb the average person is, and then realize half the people are dumber than that person.
That is true. That is true.
That is true.
I worked at event ops for a long time. People don't read signs. They don't look at anything. They're just wandering through life.
The coffee cup says the coffee's hot. There are things that say, do not drink this poisonous substance.
Like Tide Pods.
My favorite was when I worked in tickets when you go to pick up your ticket at the window, it says it's a will call window. Back before everything was digital, you go pick up your tickets at the will call window. I had a woman come up to me at one of our sporting events when I was at Liberty in Virginia that said, "I'm here to pick up my tickets from a Mr. Will Call." She couldn't find the.
Oh,
she thought Will Call was the name of a person, and she had to go to the stadium and find Will Call. There's a guy. His name was Will, and she had to find him. Like this is who wanders through life on this planet.
And they live,
which is crazy,
and they're successful,
and they have money. That's why, seriously, we are top tier.
The biggest idiots at the biggest idiot parents at my daughter's school drive the most expensive cars.
Yeah, right.
Like the people who I walk into a room at like we're at a parent event and they're saying something stupid, or they don't know where their kid's classroom is, even though their kid goes there every day, or they don't follow any of the instructions. Like, don't hold the door open for strangers. They're the ones driving the Range Rover. It's just bonkers to me. It doesn't make any sense. Life's not fair.
So Backlash is May 9th.
Backlash.
There's a Saturday Night's Main Event on May 23rd.
There is.
Then Clash in Italy is May 31st.
I forgot about that. Italy. We're going to Italia.
Then Night of Champions June 27th. Saturday Night's Main Event July 18th, and then August 1st and 2nd is SummerSlam. They got a lot going on, and I feel like, I don't know, are they kind of like treading water till they get to like the meat of the summer? I don't know. Maybe that's part of it.
Where's Money in the Bank? Did you say that?
It's in New Orleans, September 6th.
How about
they push it back to September
after SummerSlam? Wow, how about that?
Well, yeah, which again, I always thought the timing was weird because it's always a year. So now maybe like later in the year, like you could get to next SummerSlam with it now.
Yeah, sure.
I have no problem with
that. That's a lot going on, though. That's a lot going on there in a short time frame.
It is. Which is why, again, they want to do one night WrestleManias and they want to have, not a split roster. And I'm like, I don't know how you do. Imagine if the roster wasn't split and you got to have these guys talk promos on the same stuff twice a week for like, they couldn't even extend the Punk Roman thing the way they did it. Roman was never even there. Right. So like, again, like they give themselves the space doing that.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's a lot to go on with not much story. Like, there's not much going on right now.
No,
storyline wise.
And when you go to international markets, those nights are weird too because they have to ultimately appease the locals. So usually some old vet shows up for a little bit at one of those things,
That's why Brett and Bulldog was the main event in the SummerSlam '92 because it was in London.
Yeah.
So fantastic match too, by the way. I rewatched that recently. That match was great.
The best is the ending was just very innocuous. Just happened. No
roll up bomb.
Real quick, have either of you watched any of the Hulk Hogan documentary?
Saw the whole thing.
I'm one episode in. I'm on all the foo stuff. It's like he grew up here and he went. That was the episode 1. Excited for the rest of it.
Without giving anything away, you probably know what I'm telling you. It does end very sad, I think.
No.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know why.
It's almost like I don't know if you guys remember that show, The League, but there's the episode where Rafi, the character, finds out that Whitney Houston died. And he's like, Whitney Houston's dead? What did Michael Jackson say about it? Like, that's kind of how it feels. Like if you don't know the ending by now, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. His daughter's online she's going on quite some tangents about some merch that he stole or this or the other that they didn't talk for years, and it smells like she's trying to come back and capitalize on his death, which I don't really care for. But
I did know somebody who met him a few months before he died at a grocery store in Western PA when he was promoting his beer, All American beer or whatever. So line was not as long as he expected it to be, which is kind of like sad. Like the guy who dominated wrestling. But the one thing that drives me crazy is we can all feel how we feel about Hulk Hogan.
Sure.
Like it's the idea that somehow he was not the biggest star in wrestling and it wasn't the main reason that WWE turned into WWE, like, is bonkers to me. Like the more I find out about him, the more like I'm like, that's kind of shady, or I didn't like that. But like the all of a sudden it's not cool to acknowledge that he was the biggest star in the world for a long time is strange.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Biggest star in the world, period. Not
that's why I didn't say, I said biggest star.
Yeah.
Was doing movies.
Yeah.
And like people forget, originally got fired from WWF because he went to do movies.
Yeah.
And so like it's just the all of a sudden it's not cool to be able to even acknowledge the talent is strange.
No, I actually when you're done watching all of this, I want you to revisit what you just said, because I think that you'll have some perspective on that.
Okay.
The revisionist history drives me crazy, and that that goes a lot with even that in sports in general. Like it pains me to have to sit, and I've actually stopped. I've retired from the LeBron and Jordan debates. Like, brothers, you just have no idea what greatness actually was. And to go back and try, because Brian is a big proponent of this, and it's I love him for it because he's able to compartmentalize. Hulk Hogan was Hulk Hogan. Terry Bollea was Terry Bollea. They weren't the same person.
Yeah.
Like Hulk in the ring told me to say my prayers, eat my vitamins, and he conquered evil. That was Hulk Hogan. Terry Bollea may have been, was a racist or what made racist commentaries. That's not Hulk Hogan.
Like my big thing was I lost a lot of respect when I found out that Jesse Ventura tried to unionize and Hulk snitched, right? Like as a pro labor guy, I'm like, hey, that's really sucky. But once again, that's Terry. That's not Hulk Hogan.
That's Terry. That wasn't the Hulk.
Like,
right.
And so the ability of looking back, I look back like my childhood, and Hulk Hogan dominated my childhood. Like dominated. A lot of those guys dominated my childhood. I think back to like my little you remember those wrestling buddies, like the pillow wrestling guys? I used to wrestle those things in my living room and put on fake matches. It was like the $1 Million Man and Macho Man and Hulk Hogan and like
they still got him. I got Braden a blow up ring.
Nice.
Room. He's got Rock and Cena and Cody and Jay. I think I forget who else we have.
That's awesome. And in 20 years we'll find out shit about the guys that are wrestling now. It's the same thing. It's the same as it ever was.
Yeah.
Right. Like
all your favorite athletes, all your favorite politicians, all your favorite movie stars. Guess what? They have some personal shit that you don't like. It is what it is.
And it's gonna be even worse in the era of social media because that shit never goes away. You could be shady for a long time back in the day.
Right.
But now social media is a thing.
Yeah, listen.
What else gets me? What else bothers me too in these 2K games? They rank the wrestlers. They give 87 Hulk. He's like a 93. There's no shot he's not a 99 overall.
I was a huge fan of Diana Racine until I found out she was cheating on Mike Grable with her husband.
Anyway, so I'm excited to finish.
No, it's really good. It's really good.
Yeah, I'm excited.
But they all are. But I will tell you this. I feel like we've seen the same stuff like 6 times over. Like whenever you see these wrestling docs, like you probably heard this story already, but you hear like a slightly different twist to it, I guess. But it's still, I'll watch them all.
There wasn't a lot in the Vince McMahon documentary I didn't already know.
Correct.
Like if you read up on these guys and you've watched, even if it wasn't in a 6-part series, but you've watched, like you've listened to podcasts and things, like you eventually pull all these things together. The one thing I was excited about in the documentary was we got almost immediately got a Jimmy Hart appearance.
Yeah.
And that was who I really felt bad for when he got booed. The one of the last times he was out is because like everybody loves Jimmy Hart. Like you will not find somebody that will say something bad about him. And it stunk that he came out with Hulk and like that happened.
That was poorly planned for the location that it was.
Exactly. And it's also, once again, wrestling not understanding their audience, right? Like people forget. I had a discussion about this a few days ago, and I think Pablo Torre actually talked about this on his show. Is that like there is a sort of rift within TKO fan bases, right? Like UFC fan base runs a little more right politically, WWE runs a little more left politically. Like TKO's starting to run into some issues with balancing how they're viewed corporate wise, and so like it's getting a little bit funky. Right, but like I said, it was. I'm glad we got a Jimmy Hart appearance, and I hope, don't spoil it for me. Hope we get a lot more Jimmy Hart because I love Jimmy Hart. I love whenever he talks.
Mouth of the South, baby.
Yeah, I love it.
There's hearts. Yeah.
Bro, no, I'm not even gonna ask.
I'm not saying anything.
No, people have already once again. I'm not gonna say they ruined it for me because it's been out for a while, and I just haven't had a chance to watch it.
Yeah.
I've already seen like the Bret Hart stuff on Twitter, and I'm sure JC Ventura will have some really good things to say too. So no, I'm I'm very much excited.
I'll tell you what though, LA, I hated LA because they beat the Yankees in the World Series, and then they went right into the booing of Hulk Hogan. So to me, LA is dead to me from now on. And if you're watching from LA, I'm sorry. If you're from there, LA is dead to me.
Nobody in LA knew they won the World Series.
Nobody. It's like when the Chargers were through there, people were going to bars and they were posting like they were looking for Chargers jerseys and they couldn't find them. Like there was nobody in the bars that were wearing like
San Diego,
or the same thing with the Rams for a while. By the way, Lou, one quick LA story. I was there for a conference a few years ago. They took us on a tour of SoFi Stadium, which is beautiful. It's unbelievable. But my buddies and I, we were at a conference and we'd been drinking for a while. They give out like free booze and everything. And the guy giving the tour was like some college kid. He claimed that like during an earthquake, SoFi Stadium is like the safest place to be because they made it like earthquake grade. And my buddy drunkenly goes, "How do you know? Have you been here when it's happened?" And he's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You haven't been here have you been here for an earthquake? How do you know it's the safest place to be? We should judge that. We should." And I was like, but don't hate on LA. LA's California. LA has the same problems California has, but the weather's great.
LA is dead to me. I couldn't care less about LA.
So I'll be somewhere around the vicinity. We're in this summer. We're going out to the Disney Resort in Hawaii, and then on the way back, stopping in Anaheim for a couple of days for Disneyland.
Nice, beautiful.
I tried to negotiate Tokyo so bad. My wife would not. She's like, I can't take that much time off.
You know what though? People are actually going to Tokyo Disney because they figured out that it's cheaper to go all the way to Tokyo than it is to go to Orlando.
It's awesome. Like I've seen stuff. It's awesome.
My wife went there a decade ago and said it was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So you just got to go when it's not the super humid season or whatever.
If you go to Tokyo, that's at least a 2-week endeavor. That's not a weekable.
Well, that's the thing though. But like, I will never be closer to Tokyo than I will be there in Hawaii. I have a 6-hour flight from Tokyo. Right. I will never be that close again.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, that'll be fun. You'll like Disneyland.
Yeah.
All right, kids. Fun night as always. I thought we have an hour worth of content. As you can see, we're going on 2. That's what happens when we start talking about wrestling and everything else in life.
When we like each other.
It's amazing.
That's right.
Sorry for Brian Dunn could not make it tonight. Having some stuff going on. He's okay. Just a lot going on. Just too much. We'll try to get another one. I mean, there's a lot of content apparently in May. Apparently, May is wrestling month. So, just remember, Flyers suck. If you're watching the show, they're gonna lose in 2 games to Carolina. It's gonna be ugly. I'm gonna remind you that the system is stupid. That's one reason they want a series. Anyway, have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
Take care.